Why micronutrients matter more than you think. Most people think of health as a game of big numbers: cholesterol, blood pressure, blood sugar. If those are fine, then we assume we're in the clear. But what if I told you there's another layer of health, one that operates quietly beneath the surface, one that can profoundly affect your energy, your sleep, your heart rhythm, even your mood, and yet it's often overlooked? I'm talking about micronutrients, specifically minerals like magnesium and potassium. They're not flashy, they don't make headlines, but they are essential building blocks of life. Without them, your body struggles to do even the most basic things, like contract a muscle, fire a nerve signal, or keep your heart beating in rhythm. They're like the spark plugs of the body, small but absolutely critical. And here's the surprising truth: deficiencies in magnesium and potassium are far more common than you might think, especially in older adults, people taking medications, or anyone following a restrictive or processed food-heavy diet. You might feel tired all the time, have leg cramps at night, feel your heart skip a beat, or toss and turn through the night, and not realize your body is quietly starving for something it desperately needs. This guide is here to change that. We're going to uncover the hidden superpowers of magnesium and potassium, the silent signs that your body is running low, who's most at risk and why it matters more as you age, and most importantly, how to restore balance gently, safely, and naturally. Because when you understand your body's whispers, you can act before it screams. And the good news? Tiny changes in awareness, diet, and care can make a massive difference in how you feel, function, and age. Let's explore the world of minerals that your body has been quietly depending on all along. The mighty magnesium. Why it's called the relaxation mineral. Magnesium. It's not flashy like calcium or iron. It doesn't get the attention that vitamin D or omega-3s do. But quietly, behind the scenes, magnesium is orchestrating more than 300 biochemical processes in your body every single day. Without enough magnesium, your body simply doesn't function well. Your muscles may cramp, your sleep may become shallow, your heart may beat irregularly, and your mood can swing without warning. That's why many functional medicine doctors affectionately call it the relaxation mineral. Because when magnesium is low, everything feels tight, irritable, and out of sync. So how do you know if your body is running low? You might feel it as twitches or cramps in your legs or feet at night. Or maybe you've been feeling wired but tired, mentally anxious, physically exhausted, and yet unable to fall asleep. Some people notice frequent headaches, brain fog, or mood swings that seem to come out of nowhere. Others struggle with tingling sensations, an erratic heartbeat, or a sense that their nervous system is on edge. And here's the kicker: most people with magnesium deficiency don't know it. Why? Because the signs are subtle and often blamed on age, stress, or just getting older. But the truth is, modern life drains our magnesium. Chronic stress, processed foods, caffeine, alcohol, certain medications like diuretics or PPIs, and even digestive issues like IBS or Crohn's, all of them strip your body of this precious mineral. And if your diet is low in leafy greens, seeds, nuts, and legumes, you're likely running a deficit. Left uncorrected, this silent shortage can lead to long-term issues: osteoporosis, high blood pressure, insulin resistance, even heart disease. The good news? It's incredibly simple to replenish your magnesium levels, and the effects can feel like flipping a switch. Start with food. Spinach, pumpkin seeds, almonds, avocado, and even dark chocolate, yes, chocolate, are rich in magnesium. Consider a supplement. Magnesium glycinate is gentle and calming for sleep and mood, while magnesium citrate can support digestion. And remember to lower your stress load, even just a little. A walk in nature, 10 minutes of deep breathing, or some gentle stretching can go a long way. Because when magnesium is back in balance, your body remembers how to breathe deeply, sleep soundly, and move freely again. The power of potassium, guardian of your heart and muscles. Potassium doesn't often make headlines, But quietly, it serves as a guardian of your most vital systems: your heart, your muscles, your nerves, and even your kidneys. It's one of the body's most important electrolytes, working 24/7 to keep your heartbeat steady, your muscles contracting smoothly, and your nerves firing on cue. Yet, many people are walking around unknowingly low in potassium, especially older adults, those on blood pressure medications or diuretics, and anyone who's battled chronic digestive issues. So how would you know? You might feel it in your legs, a nagging weakness or cramps that strike at night or after a walk, or in your chest, a fluttering heartbeat, a skipped beat that makes you stop and wonder. It could show up in ways you'd never connect: constipation, bloating, a general sense of fatigue or sluggishness, like your body's moving through molasses. Some even feel a strange tingling or numbness, especially in the arms or feet. These are the whispers your body sends when potassium is running low. And there are many culprits: medications like diuretics and laxatives, episodes of vomiting or diarrhea, excessive sweating, or just a diet high in processed foods and low in whole fruits and vegetables. A surprising one? Low magnesium. Yes, magnesium and potassium are close partners in the body. If one is low, the other often follows. Left unchecked, a potassium deficiency can become serious. Over time, it can contribute to dangerous heart arrhythmias, muscle breakdown, even kidney impairment. In extreme cases, it may lead to temporary paralysis. But the good news is, potassium is easy to replenish if you know how. Start with food. Mother Nature has provided plenty of potassium-rich options: bananas, sweet potatoes, spinach, white beans, avocados, oranges, and even coconut water. If you're eating a clean, colorful, plant-rich diet, you're already halfway there. But beware of extreme low-carb or crash diets. These often strip the body of potassium quickly. What about supplements? Potassium supplements can be helpful, but unlike magnesium, they carry risk if not managed properly. Too much potassium, especially in people with kidney disease, can be just as dangerous as too little. So always talk with your doctor before supplementing. And one final tip: hydration matters. Staying well hydrated helps your kidneys regulate electrolytes and keeps your internal balance in check. In a world full of complex health advice, potassium offers a simple truth: a steady supply of real food and self-awareness goes a long way toward protecting your heart and energy. Who's most at risk for mineral deficiencies? Micronutrient deficiencies rarely strike out of nowhere. They usually creep in, quietly, gradually, until one day you realize you're not sleeping like you used to, your energy feels drained, or your heart skips a beat more than once. The truth is, some groups of people are more vulnerable to these silent imbalances, especially when it comes to magnesium and potassium. Let's start with the group that's close to my heart: older adults. As we age, our bodies naturally become less efficient at absorbing minerals from food. Add to that a higher likelihood of taking medications: blood pressure pills, diuretics, antacids, or even antibiotics, and suddenly, key nutrients like magnesium and potassium are being depleted faster than they're being replaced. Then there are those living with chronic illnesses: hypertension, type 2 diabetes, heart disease, or kidney issues. These conditions don't just affect major organs. They often disrupt the body's mineral balance in subtle but serious ways. Diuretics meant to lower blood pressure may flush potassium right out. High blood sugar levels may cause the kidneys to excrete more magnesium than normal. Next, think about people under physical stress, like athletes or workers in hot climates who sweat excessively. When you lose sweat, you don't just lose water, you lose vital electrolytes. If you're not replenishing through the right foods or fluids, those losses can build up into fatigue, cramps, or worse. We can't forget about those navigating restrictive diets, eating disorders, or food insecurity. A low-carb, high-protein fad might look good on paper, but without fruits, vegetables, legumes, or whole grains, you risk cutting out the very foods rich in magnesium and potassium. The same applies to anyone with a sensitive gut.
Conditions like IBS, celiac disease, or Crohn's often impair the body's ability to absorb minerals efficiently. And finally, a hard but important truth. Heavy alcohol consumption can severely deplete magnesium stores. Alcohol acts as a diuretic, leaching out both magnesium and potassium. Long-term drinkers may experience muscle weakness, confusion, even arrhythmias, not always from the alcohol itself, but from the nutritional void it creates. So, if you find yourself in one of these categories or caring for someone who does, it's worth paying attention. Your body speaks in symptoms long before it shows up in lab results. A twitch, a cramp, a fluttering heartbeat, they're not just annoyances, they're signals. Recognizing your personal risk is the first step. From there, with thoughtful nutrition, medical guidance, and a little curiosity, you can take back control of your body's hidden chemistry, one mineral at a time.
Smart food strategies to prevent deficiencies. Let me tell you something I've learned after decades of working with patients. Your body is a reflection of what you feed it. Not just the big meals, but the small choices you make every single day. And when it comes to minerals like magnesium and potassium, the best medicine doesn't come in a pill. It comes from your kitchen. So how do you keep your mineral levels in balance naturally? You start by thinking in colors, textures, and layers, not just calories or carbs. I like to call it the rainbow nourishment approach, because when you build your plate with variety, you're not just eating, you're healing. Let's talk magnesium first. This is your calm and steady mineral. To keep it flowing in your system, leafy greens like spinach and kale should be part of your weekly routine. Not just as a side dish, but stirred into soups, blended into smoothies, or even sautéed for breakfast. Nuts and seeds, especially pumpkin seeds, chia, and flax, are tiny nutrient bombs. A small handful a day can make a huge difference. Legumes, such as black beans and lentils, offer both fiber and magnesium, and are perfect in soups, stews, or even tossed into salads. And don't forget whole grains like quinoa or brown rice, which give your body slow-burning energy and essential minerals. Now let's move to potassium, your heart's best friend. Sweet potatoes are one of nature's most generous gifts. Not only are they potassium-rich, but they're also gentle on digestion and blood sugar. Bananas and avocados, easy, accessible, and full of heart-protecting nutrients, can be added to breakfast or turned into smoothies. White beans are excellent in stews or mashed as a spread. And dried apricots offer a potassium-packed snack. For those who enjoy dairy, a cup of unsweetened yogurt is a great way to support both gut and mineral health. Here's the real magic. When you combine these foods regularly, you're not just checking boxes. You're creating an environment where nutrients work together. Vitamin C boosts iron absorption. Magnesium helps your body retain potassium. Fiber supports your gut to absorb it all better. This isn't about following a perfect diet. It's about making consistent, thoughtful choices. Add a handful of seeds to your breakfast. Choose spinach instead of iceberg. Keep a banana or some dried fruit nearby for a snack. Little by little, you're building a mineral-rich life from the inside out. Your body knows what to do with real food. It just needs you to give it the tools. Do you need it? In a perfect world, we'd get all the minerals we need from a balanced whole food diet. But let's be honest, life isn't always perfect. Between medications, aging digestion, food choices, and chronic stress, sometimes our bodies need a little extra help. That's where supplementation comes in. But here's the truth. Supplements are not a quick fix. They're a tool, and like any tool, they work best when used with precision and care. Let's start with magnesium. If you're someone who struggles with anxiety, restless sleep, or nighttime leg cramps, a magnesium supplement may be your best ally. But not all forms are created equal. For calming the nervous system and improving sleep, I often recommend magnesium glycinate. It's gentle on the stomach and well absorbed. If your concern is constipation or sluggish digestion, magnesium citrate is a good choice, as it also acts as a mild laxative.
For fatigue or muscle pain, magnesium malate may offer better support due to its role in cellular energy production. But a word of caution, more isn't always better. Too much magnesium can cause diarrhea or interfere with medications. That's why it's important to start low, go slow, and listen to your body. And always read the label. Some products combine different forms of magnesium or contain added ingredients you may not need. Now, let's talk about potassium, a mineral that plays a critical role in heart rhythm, nerve signals, and fluid balance. Here's the catch. While it's essential, potassium supplements should not be taken casually. Why? Because the margin between helpful and harmful is razor thin, especially if you have kidney disease, heart conditions, or take medications like ACE inhibitors or diuretics. An excess of potassium in the bloodstream, called hyperkalemia, can be just as dangerous as a deficiency. It can cause dangerous heart arrhythmias that come on without warning. That's why potassium supplementation should always be guided by a healthcare professional, ideally with lab tests to monitor your levels. So, do you need supplements? Here's a simple guideline I offer my patients. If your diet is poor, or you have symptoms despite eating well, if you take medications that deplete minerals like PPIs, diuretics, or laxatives, if you have a digestive disorder, chronic stress, or are recovering from illness, then yes, a targeted supplement may help you rebuild your foundation. But supplements should never replace food or wisdom. They are there to support your body, not override it. So before you reach for a pill bottle, ask yourself, am I giving my body what it needs every day through nourishment, movement, rest, and breath? That's the real prescription for lifelong wellness.
Real-life cases, when subtle symptoms tell a bigger story. Let me introduce you to Frank. Frank is 65, retired, and still active in his community. But for months, something had been off. Each night, he was jolted awake by painful leg cramps, the kind that twist your muscles and leave you breathless. His sleep was poor, and his energy during the day practically gone. He went in for a checkup, routine blood work, all within range. Nothing seemed wrong. But here's the thing, what's normal on paper isn't always optimal for the body. After a closer conversation, we realized Frank's diet was low in magnesium-rich foods. We added simple changes, a handful of pumpkin seeds daily, sautéed spinach with dinner, and a low-dose magnesium glycinate supplement at night. Within 2 weeks, the cramps were gone. He began sleeping through the night for the first time in months. I thought it was just aging, he told me. Turns out I was just low on magnesium. Now meet Marie. She's 72, elegant and sharp-witted, but lately had been feeling unusually tired and dizzy. Her heart would flutter at random, and she'd been battling constipation that just wouldn't let up. Marie had been on diuretics for her blood pressure for years, a medication that, while helpful, secretly drains the body of potassium. Sure enough, a lab test revealed low potassium levels. Instead of immediately jumping to medication, we took a food-first approach. Sweet potatoes, white beans, spinach, a banana a day, all added gently into her routine. We also worked with her cardiologist to adjust her diuretic dose. 2 months later, she returned for a follow-up. I feel steady again, she smiled, like I'm back in my rhythm. These stories are real, and they remind us of something profound. Your body whispers before it screams. Leg cramps, fatigue, a flutter in the chest, these aren't just quirks of aging. They are signals. Gentle taps on the shoulder that something deeper may be out of balance. Conclusion: stay ahead of the silent shortages. Magnesium and potassium aren't trendy supplements. They don't promise overnight miracles. But what they quietly support every day, your heartbeat, your muscles, your sleep, your mental clarity, is nothing short of life-changing. And yet, deficiencies in these minerals often go undetected.
Not because the science isn't there, but because we're not always trained to listen. We shrug off cramps, we push through fatigue, we normalize what's really a cry for support. But you don't have to wait until it gets worse. With a little awareness, a little attention to your plate, and a little partnership with your healthcare provider, you can catch the whispers early and respond wisely. Because at the end of the day, the goal isn't just to manage symptoms. The goal is to wake up feeling steady, rested, and alive in your own body. The goal isn't just to survive, it's to thrive.